Hey guys, I'm Tara. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about chronic pain and how the brain relates to chronic pain. So I just want to do a little disclaimer in the beginning of this video. This video is intended for people who have been diagnosed with chronic pain. So that means you've been to the doctor, you've had your pain looked at by a medical professional. They've probably done testing and either they did give you some type of orthopedic diagnosis or they couldn't find a reason for your pain and then they diagnosed you with chronic pain. But I just want to make that clear that this is assuming that you've had a medical exam and nothing serious is going on. Pain is your body telling you that you need to look at something further, so don't just ignore it and not go to the doctor. Okay, that being said, let's get into this video. I think it's important to have a basic understanding of what is going on with the pain signal in the body. So we're just going to go over that quick. So pain is sent on either the fast route or a slow route. So the fast route of pain, basically the nerves send a message to your brain and then you experience the pain response. So the best example really is if you accidentally touch a hot stove, the nerves are sending the message to the brain sends it back quickly, that's painful, so you move your hand. So the second pathway, the slow pathway, kind of has the same basis. The nerves send a message to the brain and then you get pain, but it's more this delayed, achy type pain you get. And when this signal is being sent, the pain signal, it also passes through the area of the brain that controls emotions, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit later in this video. Sometimes the brain, I guess you could say, kind of gets it wrong and can send a pain signal when there is no longer a threat to the body. And this commonly can happen in people who have chronic pain. So we need to know that everyone experiences pain differently. So I could injure my shoulder and have the same exact injury as you, but we might experience pain differently. And that could be based on past experiences that we have, and that'll kind of change the pain response and how the brain is sending the signal. An example I like to look at is the low back and herniated discs. So some people have a herniated disc and could be experiencing severe pain, but there have been studies where they have looked at imaging, like an MRI, of a person who does not have back pain or has never had back pain. And most people have some type of herniated disc in their back, but some people don't experience pain from them. And then some people could have, on imaging, a mild herniated disc and then be experiencing a high level of pain. So that kind of shows you how people have different experiences of pain. And that kind of gets into another point, which I won't go in too much detail on, not being like so focused on what imaging says, because just because you do say, since we're going with the example of a herniated disc, if you have one in your low back, it doesn't mean you're going to have back pain for the rest of your life, because, like I said, there's plenty of people who have no back pain and then they look at their imaging and they do have herniated discs. So we'll leave that at that and we'll move on to our next point. Okay, so let's talk about the phrase, "it's all in your head." First off, I don't like that phrase because I think that the way we say things or the words we use can affect people, and I think that that phrase could be said better. But if we actually think about it, all pain comes from the brain, so really any type of pain is technically from your head, right? So if someone has their bone like sticking out, are we just going to be like, oh, well, the pain's all in his head? Well, yeah, it is coming from his head, but his bone's also sticking out. So I just wanted to give you guys that viewpoint. If you're someone who has ever heard that statement and took that in a negative way, or took that as thinking I'm crazy or whatever, because I've heard that from patients, I just wanted to let you know that no, you're not crazy. And again, pain does come from the brain and everyone experiences pain differently. Just because you can't see your pain or see something visibly wrong does not mean that it's not there. So the longer that you're experiencing a specific type of pain, or the longer chronic type pain is going on, the more efficient your brain actually gets at sending that signal. It's like used to it and it can do it easily. So it's like, all right, well, I send the signal all the time. This is easy now. I can keep sending it. So in my personal opinion, Chronic pain most of the time is a combination of the brain signal and actual physical things going on. Usually probably like some type of muscle tightness, maybe some alignment we can work on, strength imbalances. But a lot of it is also that the brain is just used to sending that signal, and it keeps sending that signal over and over again, even when we don't need it to. Again, every case is different, but it is very likely that a majority of pain could be coming from this signal. So I think if we ignore the aspect or the brain's role in this, that we're missing a big piece on helping you guys address your issue. And I just want to be clear that I truly am not dismissing anyone's issue, and I'm not saying that the pain is not there. The pain is there. I'm just trying to change how you guys look at it and to try to get you to look at it from a different perspective, because I really think that could be super beneficial in healing. So I moved and I found a puppy in here, so I'm going to sit with him for the rest of this video. If you don't follow me on social media or haven't watched any of my other videos, I have 3 dogs, so usually one's around somewhere. So I want to go back to a point I made in the beginning of the video talking about how emotions affect pain, or how when we have the pain signal sending, that it's running through the same area that we experience emotions. So that's kind of something to consider. How do our emotions affect our pain? So a way to think about this is if you are super stressed, maybe your pain actually increases, but a lot of times when people are stressed, they get really tight necks and upper traps. Like you notice like you're in this type of position, and that's all really emotional. Nothing physically is causing your upper traps to get tight. You're just stressed and holding yourself in that position. So on a side note, so we can stop talking about pain for a second, I decorated for Christmas, so if you see my little mini Christmas tree here, I do have a normal like bigger Christmas tree, but this Christmas tree, I used to work as a travel physical therapist for a little while, and Scott, my fiance, was working from home, so he traveled with me. So we got this like little tree, so we had it for Christmas because we couldn't like travel with a big tree, and now I put like any misfit ornaments on it, because on my like actual tree, I like it to be like all matching. But anyway, back to talking about pain. So when we are in a calm state, our brain is sending less signals. When we're in a more anxious type state, the brain starts sending more signals. So if you think about that, the pain response is a signal sent. So if we're anxious, there could be more of these pain signals being sent. So I kind of want to give you guys something to work on to try to help break up this constant sending of the signal. So when you're experiencing pain, and I'm talking about pain that, like I said in the beginning, you've experienced, you know either what it's coming from, or you know that it's nothing serious and you've been cleared by the doctor. So this pain comes back. And I think a common response would be to get stressed about it, or anxious, or to get angry and annoyed that it's back again. And maybe you thought it was gone, now it's coming back again, and it pisses you off. Instead of getting into that mindset, because those type of emotions are just increasing the signal, right? Because when we have increased anxiety and stress, a lot of times we hold our muscles in a tighter state, and then this in turn is going to probably increase the pain we're experiencing. So let's try to change that mindset a little bit. I do have a video on my YouTube channel that goes over a basic technique of using your breath to relax different parts of your body and kind of relax tight muscles, so I'll link that in the description below. And I know that this is not easy, so I'm not trying to make it seem like it's going to be this easy change, but I think if you could start trying to think in this way, our brain gets into patterns and then keeps repeating them. So if you're in the pattern of having this pain and getting stressed or angry, let's try to change the pattern to try to approach it in a calmer way, and over time it will get easier. So if you feel the pain that you're experiencing, okay, tell yourself, I've had this pain before, I know what this is, it's not something new. Calmly accept it, notice it, okay? We're not trying to ignore it, we're noticing that it's there, because our pain is telling us something, even if it's not something physically going on. Maybe it's something on a different level or emotionally going on. So maybe ask yourself how you're feeling emotionally at that time. And the point of doing that is just to see if you could start to notice any patterns that are increasing your pain. It's not to get you too caught up in the why is the pain there, because I think that's another thing that could kind of, I guess, drive people crazy. Everyone always wants to have an answer on why this is there, and if you're someone who has pain and you never had an injury, so you don't understand why it's there and everything's coming back without, or all your imaging and stuff is coming back and nothing is wrong, I totally get how that can be super frustrating. But sometimes getting into that state of constantly like being like, well, why is it there? It just gets us back into that negative mindset. And I also don't want you to get too caught up in, if you really just don't know how you're feeling emotionally at that time, don't worry about it. Like I said, we're just trying to change the perspective of the brain and just change how we respond to this pain. As humans, we really are complex beings. And as you work with this type of mindset and asking yourself these questions, you might just start to notice patterns and things that you can work on. An example could be like every time you get upset with your partner or significant other, you notice that your pain is increasing. So maybe like that is something that you can work on. Or every time you're, falling behind at work, you notice later that day when you get home that your pain is spiked. Maybe you need to work on organizing yourself at work and making that better. So it's just like looking at areas of our life that we could work on to help us, instead of being so focused on the specific area of pain, if that makes sense. So, I'm a big believer in meditation and yoga practices, and I don't mean like it doesn't have to be vinyasa yoga, which is like the traditional yoga that you see, but on using those kinds of tools to help with mindset. So those are some ideas of things you could also look into. But with this video, I really want to give you guys, one, a basic understanding of what's going on with the pain signal, and two, maybe give you a different perspective on what you're dealing with. So sometimes when we start to look at things differently, it really can have a positive impact on us. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did make it to the end of this video and you're not subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button below. Otherwise, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.